lower interest rates, almost 2.5 points lower interest rates than otherwise. That's what you can do with the subsidies that were given to the banks. And so the question is, are we gonna rehire these guys who, as late as this week, John Boehner said they want to go back to what they were doing before. They want to get back the subsidies that we just took away. We just took away the subsidies under President Obama's leadership to send jobs overseas. Why are we subsidizing companies to send jobs overseas? They're saying they want to protect those. It's unfair to those corporations that we don't do that. No, it's unfair to the American people, workers and families, when we don't do that. Their first reaction when President Obama said the BP was going to have to pay for this bill, they said he's too tough on them. He should apologize to British Petroleum. That's not what it's about. It's about making sure that only responsible people are allowed to drill on the outer continental shelf. British Petroleum is a rogue corporation, has one of the worst safety records of any corporation in doing business in America. We passed a law in the House that says they're not going to be able to participate in the future in oil drilling because they're an irresponsible corporation. They said we're being unfair. No, that's the American public's resources. They're entitled to have responsible people exploit those resources. So that's what this election is about. This election is about whether we're going to go forward. They're so angry that we did financial reform to hold the banks accountable for the banks that destroyed the economy in this country. Families in this country lost over $14 trillion.
Wow.
Think about it.
Wow.
I didn't say millions. I didn't say billions. I said trillions of wealth and the value of their homes and the value of their jobs and their paychecks and their pension plans. Think about it. And they're suggesting that we go back to that we not have financial Wall Street regulation and reform. How can that possibly be? But they're telling the country that that's the direction that we must go. Well, we're not going there, and with your help, they're not either, and the country won't have to. And the country won't have to. And so what's important here is that today is the kickoff.
Right.
When we all go to work to win in November 2nd. And that you participate and you bring your friends. And we've got to gather and exchange our stories, exchange our experiences, but we've got to expand the pie. And Amy Barry, who's running up in the 3rd district, right? CD 3rd, the bar seat, where he's running against Dan Lundgren, is a contest that we must win. And we can win it. Because he's about the future. Smart, young, talented, with great credentials, a doctor, one of the deans of the medical school, and now he's decided he's going to do this kind of public service and come to Congress. He's got a great campaign, he's a great campaigner, and we've got to support him. You've got to support me. You've got to support Mike Thompson. You've got to support the entire delegation, because we're about making change under the leadership of Speaker Pelosi. When those old committee chairmen used to fight back and forth and couldn't get anything done for the American people, she said, we're not going to do business that way. And that's what I was trying to say in the book. We owe this president a better system to get things done. And we got things done. This has been the most productive Congress in history. Most productive Congress in history. With financial reform, with health care reform. Never again will you lose your insurance because you get sick. You're supposed to have insurance when you get sick. Never again will you lose your insurance because of a pre-existing condition. Never again will your children get kicked off the policy simply because they reached the age of 18 or 21. That's not going to happen ever again. And if you're unfortunate enough to lose your insurance because you lost your job, you're never again going to lose your health insurance. Your family will be secure. Think of what that means, that kind of economic security, to know that you will always have insurance. And if you can't afford it, we'll help you. We'll help you. When you can afford it, you do it on your own. When you can't, and that's the way it's going to be. Over half of all of the bankruptcies in this country are because of people's medical events that take place that they can't pay for, they can't control, they can't afford. We can't do that to families. We can't say, oh, well, sorry, you got sick, you lose your house, you're in the bankruptcy. It's impossible. So think about this change. Think about the direction They're telling us they don't want to do a modern energy bill. They want to reverse what we've done, the investments that we've made in renewable and alternative energy sources, where we're now moving to the point where we're manufacturing those components and those things in America. We're going to make these jobs in America. We're going to stop subsidizing sending jobs overseas. They're going to be made in America. New energy in the health profession, in the health sciences, all across this country. Hundreds of thousands of people are going to need to have jobs in the health fields to take care of the people that aren't getting taken care of today under the new health care bill. To meet our energy needs, to deal with climate, to deal with pollution, we wanted those jobs in America. Up until President Obama made that investment in renewable energies and alternative energies, until he made that investment, most of the stuff we were importing. We didn't make highly sophisticated, energy efficient batteries for electric cars. We now have the ability to meet 20% of the demand worldwide, and they'll be made in America. We can now build electric cars in America because the batteries will be made in America. It's a different time. We don't want to go back. We don't want to go back. They drove this car deep into the ditch, you know, and as much as we want to turn it around in just a New York minute, we know that it's in so much trouble it can't. But it's not because the president isn't trying, not because the Congress isn't trying. But Pam's also so right. California sets a trend. And when we look at the service and the creativity of Barbara Boxer and Jerry Brown, we understand where they can take the state, where they have taken the state. We now pay less, we pay 2/3 less to heat a home on a 100-degree day in Fresno, California than in Austin, Texas. Because Jerry Brown thought we ought to start insulating homes back in the 1970s. Back in the 1970s. We may have some of the highest utility rates in the country. We have some of the lowest utility bills. Don't tell my wife this now. But we have some of the lowest utility bills in the country because we're more efficient in the use of our energy. We're more efficient in the building of our homes, in our commercial space, and the rest of that. And that's led to additional jobs in those industries. The idea that two billionaires can walk in and say, we're going to take control of the state, we're going to run it our way. Their history is sending jobs overseas. Their history is not participating in elections, not participating in the public square, but they think because they can spend $100, $150 million in election, they should have it. I say no. I say no. We're not going to go there in California. We're not going to go there. We want a governor who can lead. We want a United States senator who can lead as she has done on energy and on the environment, on public works, and creating jobs for working families in this country. That's what this election is about. It's a very clear choice. Take America back to the path of financial scandals, of huge debt, or go forward and create jobs for Americans here, create an education system that works, create an energy system that works, and protect the health care and the access to health care and the affordability of health care for all American families. That's the challenge. So whether it's George Miller, or Ami Barra, or Mike Thompson, Barbara Boxer, and Jerry Brown, we need your support, and thank you so very much for coming out and working on behalf of Democrats in California. Thank you very much. It's an honor.